Thank you for watching, my pets, and I will... Soleil? What the f*** are you doing here? Get out. Excuse me? Get out now. You summoned me. I would never. You did. You know that every time you make a mortal happy, I show up. You reviewed a comedy, and that makes mortals happy, so of course I showed up. I know. Is that not why you had to kill that one mortal that you were in love with? What was his name again? Billy. That's right. Billy. You had to kill Billy because every time you were with him, I would show up. So after a time, you just decided it was better to... Get out. Why do you hate me so much, Celine? I've done nothing to you. Fine. But just so you know, Mother misses you something fiercely, and the other witches really miss having someone to... Well, I guess I'll see you at home sometime soon, won't I?
The world is not made.
Welcome back, boils and ghouls. I'm the mortician who's, scary. Let's just go with that for today. And do I have a fun movie for you? As I've pointed out before, the only new movies we're really getting in 2020 are film festival movies. And this one is no exception. The Mortuary collection originally premiered back in 2019 at the Fantastic Fest Film Festival, where it was met with overwhelming praise. In 2020, the movie was made available to the public through the streaming service Shudder. No sponsorship. Yet. A horror comedy anthology in the style of something like Creepshow.
Becky!
The Mortuary collection utilizes the framing device of a mortician who's just a little too into his job.
And we cannot die!
The mortician, by the way, is played by Clancy Brown, best known for Highlander
Happy Halloween, ladies.
and SpongeBob SquarePants.
Hello, I like money.
He actually does a great job in this role as this tall man from Phantasm-looking mortician. You can tell there's something up with him from minute one, but the movie doesn't really address it until the end. If I have one problem with Clancy Brown in this role, it's that the makeup that they used to make him look a little bit more like Riff Raff from Rocky Horror Picture Show is distractingly awful. I don't get it. The rest of this movie has great special effects. But every single time they cut back to Clancy Brown, I feel like his character is wearing a mask. And not a good one either. One that you can buy from Party City.
Go back to Party City where you belong.
Anyway, the plot gets rolling when a woman shows up at the mortuary asking about a job. This leads into our two framing device characters telling each other stories of disturbing deaths, which I am not going to be talking about in chronological order. Rather, I thought it would be fun to rank them. In last place, we have the story of a woman who finds herself trapped in a bathroom with a monster. It has some pretty decent special effects, and the story itself is fine. There just wasn't enough here to leave much of an impact. It's the shortest of all the stories, and its plot is very simple. That's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just hard to leave an impression with a plot so simple. In second to last place, we have the story of a frat bro who, well, how can I put this? It's an M-Preg story, you guys. I'm not kidding. Frat bro wakes up from a one-night stand to discover that he's pregnant. And yes, this movie does utilize all the body horror that a plot like that would imply. This story is disgusting and disturbing. If you're a fan of Cronenberg, you gotta at least respect it. Because it is difficult to sit through, not in the same way of something like a Serbian film, more in the way of something like The Fly.
That's disgusting.
This short also does have some pretty feminist leanings, with frat bro being punished for taking the condom off during sex without his partner's consent. Gotta admit, if a guy ever did that to me,
I'd rip his head off too.
Personally, I'm not a big fan of body horror movies because I find that they're typically lacking a plot that would support such usually great special effects. And this short is no exception to that rule. But if you're looking to be disgusted for a little bit, or you want a nice little feminist horror movie, this story is for you. In our next story, we follow a young man who's dealing with his wife's health issues. Something that has rendered her completely incoherent. We see how his wife has completely stolen his life from him. And all the while, he's just waiting for her to die already. But everything spirals out of control when he begins questioning if he should take things into his own hands. The biggest strength of this short is just how sympathetic it is to the husband's plight. He is living in his own little hell. His days eaten up by watching the woman that he once loved withering and dying. Considering his moral dilemma involves literal murder, it would have been easy for this short to look down on him. But instead, it does a very good job of making you understand why he might be considering something so extreme. And taking that approach makes the ending feel much more deserved. This is a morality tale in the same vein as something like Tales from the Crypt. It is tragic and grotesque, with an ending that I won't spoil, but suffice it to say, it keeps you guessing. The last and best story of this bunch is the one that ties into the framing device. I'm not going to describe too much beyond this point. I'll only say that this final short is very clearly a play on John Carpenter's Halloween, but with a clever twist. And the fact that I literally just ranked all these stories in chronological order is a very good sign. This movie knows how to keep raising the stakes. There was no point during this movie where I wasn't at least a little curious to know where this was all going. And as much as this movie was gross and shocking and disturbing at times, it had a sense of humor that made it fun to watch. It really felt like a worthy successor to something like Creepshow.
I hope you die.
Or Tales from the Crypt. With an almost gleeful use of gore that would turn any stomach. All in all, I'm gonna have to give this movie 9 money-hungry crabs running mortuaries out of 10.
Hello, I like money.
If you have the opportunity to check it out sometime, I say do. There, I did a nice, normal horror movie review. Nothing to summon. No. Hey there, boils and ghouls. Just one last thing before I go. My shout out for my underappreciated artist for the week is Art with Horror. He does a lot of horror movie reviews and he's really been trying to gain up his subscriber count lately, so if you guys could go check out his videos. He does a lot of very commentary type stuff. It's very interesting, so I would definitely recommend checking his channel out. The link will be in the description box down below. But for the meantime, thank you for watching my pets, and I will see you next time. Love you.